Welcome everyone to more live Linux distribution development here on this channel. Yes, still from Apple Silicon, but native macOS. Obviously, yesterday's embarrassing live stream yesterday. I didn't realize the preview in OBS native Linux showed 18 or so FPS, but I was shocked when I watched this myself that actually somehow on YouTube it was mostly a slideshow. Crazy stuff. Which brings me to a summary which kind of sort of was already my my impression or my opinion before all of this. So long story short, Linux on Apple ARM, pretty pointless and not worth your time and money. And maybe I should actually make a proper recurring theme, or maybe I should make a proper dedicated video or pre-edited summary video with illustration and stuff on the moment channel. Because so what is the issue? The issue is you buy an Apple tax overpriced machine. That's not even perfect, right? Starting with the notch and other keyboard is better, but also anyway, it is good hardware. It's not perfect. It's certainly Apple tax priced, and then you get something that is not standard conformant, and you need to you or all the amazing Asahi Linux people need to reverse engineer all this, right? And I said this before, and basically after wasting 3 afternoons or so with getting T2 booting, you have seen this. The state is known, right? You don't have Wi-Fi. Without Wi-Fi, already pain in the ass, unless you have dongles, and also is a cable maybe dongles, right? Also not that you would not know how dongles look. So yeah, Ethernet dongle with, yeah, there is some hacky Wi-Fi stuff. Yes, Wi-Fi will eventually work, but then Wi-Fi is just the beginning. Then you have display and video acceleration, and then camera. And as I said, it will take years. For that, I initially last year I said 10 years. I in the meantime re-evaluated that with Mark Hahn and friends and family working on this. So maybe it's only 5 years, but in 5 years, every year Apple will release new stuff. So 5 years for the first generation, right? With 5 means, I mean, feature complete of GPU working, like display controller output. Yes, display controller output, there are patches, but it's not yet upstream, it's not yet perfect, it's not full featured, and then there will be various hardware revisions, right? Even if display controller stuff will be upstream eventually, maybe soon. Then next year there will be new hardware that needs new patches and stuff. And then not even talking about GPU acceleration and whatever the neural core stuff was there. And so long story short, Apple Silicon, if you do not want to use 100% Apple ecosystem, it's not worth your time and money, because even for Linux distribution guys like myself, even for me, it's nearly unusable. Basically on the PS3 or SG Octane it works better. We have network there and some graphic acceleration. Yeah, and then you get similar, not as webcam and not as display, but honestly you don't usually need this liquid retina XDR display stuff, especially for like most people who work normal office stuff don't need this stuff, right? So sure, a Lenovo X13 display is not as amazing, but who cares, right? For 99% of the people don't need it, and so at least the Lenovo X13 is cheaper, and everything works, right? Standard conformance, right? Maybe probably should. So just the brainstorming. So anyway, that doesn't change that I have this machine. Unfortunately, I had to spend my hard-earned money on this because our Mac software, and as I said, even for me, I'm actually somewhat, well, I knew what I was getting with this overpriced hardware. Obviously, I'm a little bit disappointed on some respects. Especially the boot stuff is really, how do they call, cursed. And yeah, without our Mac software, it would make 0 sense. And then at least, sure, it is usable, but OBS streaming on macOS, right? I would actually call my Epic thread ripping Ryzen setup in the office more professional grade. I've even already second display here, right? There, second display. And oops, now my nice little laptop stand. So much too. Come on, can you snap in here? Not that we lose this precious machine. Yeah, and sure, for me it is usable with, yeah, with my office setup is of course more usable, but sure, it is more portable, but of course the quality in the office is also, yeah, epic thread ripping and stuff, but yeah. Let's see, so why is this stuff not building? So yeah, let's continue with this Linux stuff. So this also means for me, what does cargo want? No, cargo packager is too old. What the heck? Although this might be, let's see. So yeah, I'm building on, so this is epic thread ripping territory, right? I need a new release. I wanted actually, not everything is lost, right? Also, to summarize, I will not burn. My point is also right. So people spend their best years of their life. At least they get some Patreon, but maybe not as much as they wanted. I think there's some goal, and that is not reached, for making this a full-time job and not having to do freelance work to stay afloat. And yeah, so people need to work on Patreon donations to reverse engineer all the stuff. And recurring theme, we should not support, we should vote with our wallet, we should not support vendors. I'm not expecting Apple to write Linux drivers, but they should publish proper specifications that people at least can save half of the time of not having to reverse engineer that. And yeah, long story short, people spend their best years of their life reverse engineering and writing drivers for stuff that the richest companies in the world non-standard conformant bring to the market. And yeah, probably I should actually sort this maybe in a pre-edited video. So for us, it still means we get some use out of it. It also means that for me, so this is the same. So I'm booting. So this is yesterday's M1 Max, but now in QEMU. And basically also, yeah, for me it makes way more sense. I'm now booting the same hard drive, so partition. So I directly pass the partition of virt.io block stuff and file equals def disk 0 p5 or so. And for me, basically, the video output is better, right? Not a slideshow and so on. And all the drivers built in keyboard and touchpad works and camera. So yeah, not all is lost, and we still get some ARM64 testing out of this, but the future anyway is RISC-V. I, by the way, have amazing stuff coming. I finally ordered a case in China that hopefully is amazing for the RISC-V, because still RISC-V unmatched still here laying bare on the table. So yeah, we have amazing case builds and then other amazing stuff. And I would bet in general, or not only bet my money, but in general recommend RISC-V for more open platform, even more modern and legacy free. And I need to be even more vocal to shout out standard conformance and open stuff, and not this vendor locked in and all the like GPU and camera and all the SL being vendor specific. And last but not least, what else did I just wanted to say? All right. So also for T2, that means I need to focus. So it makes no sense. I made this questionnaire, should we make T2 more popular? So making this a first class Apple Silicon. And yeah, yes, genius. Like, yeah, not so fast. It's obviously not yet amazing. Of course, we will continue to support that. But this last 3 days also, I came to the conclusion, not only do I really need to make more proper pre-edited videos for more YouTube success, but I also need to spend my time more think more through how I spend my time with open source and T2. So releases are coming, the releases that basically were ready, which only were delayed with this, that, and another, and so on. It's not bad that we delayed the releases. We need to build cargo. Subset just builds. Yeah, so Ryzen, so this is my epic thread ripping office workstation, but not booting my portable road warrior SSD because that is here, so that is native NVMe SSD server virtualization setup. So I need to get this environment so set up that all the T2 building just works. So for T2, that means we need to concentrate, and it certainly makes more sense, right? Similar to the questionnaire, make T2 more popular by supporting Apple Silicon first class stuff. Genius, like, yeah, kinda. Of course we will support this, but we need to focus, or I need to focus even more on not certainly P3, but otherwise not SG Octane and stuff, but stuff that people play along at home, like Lenovo X13, so the latest and greatest AMD stuff, or somewhat Intel. So the standard, well, standard conform, at least you can Intel standard conform, right, with management engine and stuff, but at least you can just boot it, or on a Lenovo X13 can use a webcam, right, without having to reverse engineer this. And in this day and age, the open source community has done so much. All the open source infrastructure from GCC to the Linux kernel, Xorg, Wayland, Mesa 3D and stuff. This might still be okay. Let's see. We need to improve this also. Trusted, did we not? Is this a cargo? So yeah, 151 is it? No, this is not the latest version. Somehow, why does this not? Yeah, the fun of actually. Wait a second. Should this not be the latest version? Yeah. So basically, making T2 better for the not like SG Octane or Apple Silicon, which nobody really wants to use anyway, and yeah, making this stuff work. Also, I had another idea. So yeah, leave in the comments below what you think, but certainly everyone will agree that you and my time is better spent on making stuff to just work for everyone playing along at home, and not some esoteric whatever stuff. And yeah, so let's do that here, and welcome everyone. Welcome Anthony. How's things? How's life going there? Quite some days no seen. And yeah, today actually I quickly wanted to check if we can make Firefox not segmentation fault on ARM64. And again, this also improves it on a PinePhone. Like, ironically, it was working on PinePhone. But yeah, also I need to fix this chair. Actually, maybe I should buy another chair, not a freaking cheap metal chair. It's squeaking like crazy. So, cargo in a second. What tax payment do they want here? Why do I hear something? Good. So, cargo. Theoretically, maybe we should bootstrap that. I slightly wonder which cargo is even used here. Source Firefox, one of those, and which cargo is that? Okay, this is Rustbin cargo. I wonder if we should, maybe I changed this recently, and that is a beauty, right? We're not working on Apple Silicon support or ARM64 per se, but like improving Rust and cargo support for all the architectures. And testing, more testing, right? For a year live on this channel, I've built here with my portable Road Warrior SSD. It's like, yeah, starting with a from scratch T2 install on a blank server certainly uncovers some stuff. Zonta writes, M1 Pro Max is overpriced as well. Opinions support Apple hardware makes sense only if you need little effort. But it takes too much effort, then why would you do it for so little people? Yeah, I mean, I'm in the... Actually, I think I also wanted to say, I have done way too much open source in 20 years. It's time for a little bit change, thus also the YouTube channel. And as you say, this is also why of course I could, with my knowledge, work on those kernel patches, right? But nobody pays me, right? Even Makan has some Patreon, which might not, I don't know, is it around $3,000 or whatever that is, or $3,000 or $4,000, $5,000. His salary nearly, or something of that sort. But this is also my point, right? Why should you or me, or why should we? This is also crazy, right? That the users and community from the richest company needs to finance with Patreon all this reverse engineering and drivers, crazy stuff. And this also, I need to focus on the next big things, and the next big thing is, as I said, sure, it is more efficient and the webcam is finally better, the notch sucks, the display certainly is outstanding, but that matters little if in Lenovo X13 for 99% of your and most people's stuff is equivalent. Sure, the display is not as amazing, at least it doesn't have a notch and so on. And efficiency, who cares? You still get around 10 hours of battery life and stuff. So yeah, Anthony asked microkernel when, yes, exactly. So I need to finish the T2 release so that we can finally release it. There's also some small stuff I recently changed. For example, Mesa includes, so we have a little bit regressions. So that we need to change also, which is certainly good that I tested more and more. And then I will also finally start with more microkernel, because so the difference is, and also this is boring, right? This is only device drivers. The Linux kernel has hundreds of device drivers for video, for Linux, USB and webcam stuff. And the Linux kernel has support for thousands of embedded platforms, right? Apple Silicon is just another embedded platform as used in iOS devices as well. And we only, so how, like this XKBC or whatever, this comic there, it's like 12 sucking standards and now we have 225, right? And this is also what I really hate with this at Apple's side, and hate and despair of inventing their own stuff, right? And instead of attaching a freaking normal USB camera with USB or whatever, no, they have their special iOS like SOC direct port, whatever protocol they use and stuff, and firmware and whatnot. And yeah, this is in general what Apple is doing, and I said this in the boot video. I really need to criticize this, right? How many boot standards do we need? How many different webcam sensors? I understand this webcam protocols, USB, video, or whatever the webcams are using from 20 years ago might need revisions, but there should be, similar to USB storage, right? There should be one major USB webcam standard and not 200 different vendor-specific garbage things. And which obviously, when we continue our microkernel stuff, that is of course super annoying that we need to write drivers and more drivers. However, of course, I will focus on major drivers, right? Supporting USB attached storage, supporting old-fashioned IDE, supporting one major SCSI controller, supporting virt.io and NVMe. So a couple of, like first the major, like maybe first virt.io for latest and greatest virtualization debugging stuff, and then NVMe or so, or maybe first IDE and then NVMe or something of that sort. So first IDE because it's hopefully easier, and NVMe is certainly more complex, or AHCI. I know this host control interface already, so all the stuff is already relatively complex, but certainly it makes sense to first write those major drivers and support a majority of the hardware than writing other vendor-specific stuff. And Anthony writes, we need a standard to unify the other standards. Now there are 14 competing standards. Yeah, and it's not 14, right? As I said, we have hundreds of webcam stuff, and Apple stuff will be the next. And I think even the previous, I think maybe even my 7-year or so Retina MacBook Pro, I think even that freaking webcam needed firmware, right? So you need to upload, so you need to reverse engineer and extract the annoying firmware, Apple firmware, from the annoying iSight. Just, yeah. Also, but whatever, we digress. Let's let's get some serious work done. And that is the difference, right? When we do T2 stuff, we help embedded people and server people and container people and all the architectures. And if we waste our time on Apple Silicon, right? And it's really wasted, right? I'm sort of, at least Macan gets some money out of this, but I'm also somewhat feeling, I'm increasingly feeling sorry for the open source community, because we all are simply misused by the big mega corporations. And this, actually, I asked my best friend in Berlin the other day, the other week, and it's like, hey, don't you want to sit maybe here on this channel and we make some open source discussion, but it's regular people don't really like, don't need to sit on YouTube and stuff like, understand that. This is really sad. Maybe I should find some people on the interwebs and not some local friend, but someone on the interwebs and like maybe a little one take or something and make some open source discussion, because the companies get richer and richer, right? Even Microsoft using Linux now, and Apple is using so much open source, and certainly others like Google and Facebook, and they get richer and richer, and the open source people work here like day and night and plump and wrench the open source code for free every day. So here's build cargo. So we have here native, otherwise equal 1. Build cargo to wide. Is this commented out? Let's see if that builds cargo. Not sure why. That certainly makes sense that we bootstrap cargo fresh. So job 1. Rasse. Let's see what that gives us. Do we have 32 jobs? Sontape, Yoko, Microsoft using Linux. The irony here. I mean, they ship the Windows subsystem for Linux, which is ironically misnamed, in my opinion. This should be Linux subsystem for Windows, right? Because it's not a Windows subsystem. I would call probably Microsoft did this so that Windows stands first, like stupid marketing move, right? Like having Microsoft be the predominant thing in this sentence or title, like Microsoft Windows subsystem for Linux. I would call Wine the Windows subsystem for Linux. What Microsoft does is, in my opinion, was a Linux subsystem for Windows, but naming. Yeah, that is crazy. I mean, but also, yeah, everyone who ever worked on software in Windows certainly knows that Windows sucks big times. And yeah, this is the FUD stuff, and now Microsoft is in the adoption mode of, hey, we get the stuff for free. Let's use it for free, right? I hate this chair. I think next week I need to buy a new tablet and a new chair. Here in exile from fleeing pandemic infested Germany. This chair sucks. Anyway, so Rust, let's see. So I also was thinking, so the other day, some month ago, I said we could use Repology to extract package metadata, but unfortunately Repology doesn't have all those metadata needed for that. But then the other day I was thinking maybe we can extract from the BSD ports. Where are those sources? Is it FreeBSD? Do they have is it FreeBSD ports? I'm not that deep into BSD. Is there one shared port stuff, or is there also NetBSD ports? Why is this, by the way, so slow? Zero drop frame so. Port collection. BSD-based systems, yada, simple, yes. Okay, so they have all their own ports. So we could custom, what? Do we show that, by the way? I think we showed it. Welcome everyone. So I was thinking, because packaging all this stuff is also a little bit boring, obviously. So I was thinking maybe we can extract metadata from like download URL and stuff. Also, I'm not sure what is open ports. So ports as you announce. SQL ports database. What complete collection of packages? AMD64 parsing port structures updates, tracking changes of given port. Missing some 15% require intricate knowledge of the port's tree structure and use. Anyway, so yeah, maybe I should rather do that the next time. For example, Open or LibreOffice, we have say at least some dozen dependencies that we don't have, like like WordPerfect or like libwps or whatever. So yeah, maybe we use that sometime soon. So let's see. So Rust. So I hope this gives us a cargo. So the benefit of that, as you've seen, my in-system cargo is too old because it's some month-old T2 test install here on this Horizon. And the benefit of this is bootstrapping in the T2 toolchain, bootstrapping stage, compiling a Rust cargo as well. All right, so it's, I hope the liquid status, thank you very much. Why is it, by the way? Oh, wait a second. If that doesn't work, shit, that means, how did that broke? Shit. And that means this thing runs a little bit warm. Yeah, it runs warm, shit. Why does this shit always, oh, I hate this. Yeah, so I probably should finally, I reverse engineered the auxiliary display thing there. On this Kraken, I should have finished that the other year already. I think I have this already for 12 months or something. Yeah, so I better do stuff like that. I hope that works now. Okay, that works. How did that break? Did we update Python or something? What an intuition to check on that. That is my fan curve right now. Yeah, 100%, yeah, 32, that is of course, yeah. Also, yeah, recurring theme, not a good idea to have your fan control stuff in Python. Also, yeah, I said this 100 times, I really also don't like that this Python and Ruby and stuff constantly breaks with minor updates. And I mean, what a design decision that, as you see here, right, you have some, what was it, Python stuff installed, and then you update Python and all your modules don't work anymore. Which reminds me, there was some PHP upgrade. Do we have... LVM, something. Here, PHP. Recurrent theme of also testing some other stuff. Is that probably a 0? No? Is that... did it download something? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe not. Probably a 0. Yeah. Although we need to automate even more. Actually, you know what? I think I should. So the crazy thing is, the recurring theme here, my to-dos get longer and longer. Basically, I could live stream day and night, only if this would be more successful here. Which is also what this Patreon and GoFundMe and YouTube membership and stuff is for. Because it certainly takes day and night. You know what? There's... I think I need a new keyboard because this Bluetooth keyboard... Man. How to degrade your typing experience with this old Apple Bluetooth keyboard. I wanted to put on the to-do, what was it? I should have, what was I just thinking? All right. That was something with packages. All right, this was data auto update GitLab too. So all the GitLab packages are also probably out of date because, all right, also, I think I had this on the Apple Silicon to do, which we have of course here. Maybe I should transfer that. Yeah. So the problem is now I can't easily copy and paste. Probably I should, yeah. If we had distributed file system like Coda here. More, the more main channel. Auto update GitLab and what's up with GitHub URLs, because the T2 downloads don't work anymore for amazing reasons. Should I install PHP into the system? Actually, don't really want that. You know what, let's... Did it cross-build? I think we hacked PHP to cross-build recently, didn't we? But otherwise, if it doesn't just build, I probably... Oh, you know what? I have another to-do, which is maybe even soon let data not test build disabled packages, because I saw it tries to, it's messing up its build sandbox with LibreSSL, for example. And this stuff we should actually not let data build and update. Okay, SQLite, whatever. So it's not a patch not applying, so it's probably mostly fine. So there you have it. I probably someday should check with this install peer no setlib stuff there if that is still, yeah, but whatever. Command did not execute it successfully. What did that want so much to? Error, file creation, C logs, and it wants bash completion. Thank you very much. Why it's so, yeah, everything built and then it fails with this bullshit. I mean, seriously, why? Are you seriously? Oh man, what a waste of CPU cycles. Let's see. Also, yeah, you have some prefix and it's installing this out of prefix, right? Yeah, recurring theme, everything's totally amazing and just works. TM. Bash completion, that is script at rustlib of this is not what we want, so bash. This is with underscore bash comp. Install component cargo. Maybe we either grep for bash completion or one day alias. This is my recurring typo. Bootstrap stuff. Yeah, didn't ask for that. Get it anyway. So yeah, thank you. Oh my god. Yeah, and because we have so many build systems now, I need to figure out where that is coming from. Maybe source tool. And then it can also, yeah, thanks to the loading that from behind the back of the build system, it might even be it's loading stuff from the internet. Yeah, thank you very much. Bootstrap distance table at renamed file cargo bash completion. What? And this is also why I despair modern software development, right? I mean, who thought all of this stuff is a good idea? Not honoring the installed prefixes. What is it? Table at rename file. What does it do here? Add renamed file. Is this already tarball? Actually, I think that might be something else. That might be some other, or is it? Manifest, there is some built-in tarball cargo. Or maybe maybe it's installing through this manifest thing. Yeah, I need to find a workaround for that as well soon. bash complete no, did it not? Ah, here. Why did I overlook that? Maybe it's that after all. I mean, we can try to. The only thing, actually, did we install already fully? Otherwise, cargo version. Are we so? No, we are not so lucky. That is still the system cargo. Yeah, the sad thing is that this takes so long to build. This mode is responsible for creating tables of the standard library compiled documentation ends up being what be distributed to everyone as well. What is comment stuff in? Okay, that looks like hopefully be a comment. Why do they have 3 slashes? Yeah, distributing files in Rust is so. Thank you very much. Actually, no bash completion patch. So let's see if that. I mean, can we? What do we even? Let's try if we can install that. Was it the right? Have you multiple source? Okay, we have only one. Conf dir conf. We build. Okay, let's try if we manually run that. Never used as. Should we patch that away? Pub and that code implied could not compile due to previous errors. Thank you very much. So now this is, yeah, is that not amazing? The future of computing. I really hate this. This is so hilarious. That we get a build error just because we patched something away that no one's. Yeah, it's hilarious. Add renamed file. So where do we have that? Oh, this comes from somewhere else. This is so hilarious. Oh man. I need to. I think ironically, I think I looked this up. I just forgot what exactly the setting for that was. Overlay kind. Add renamed files. So what kind of, I need to, at least we learned some Rust. What is the Rust multi, and do they have like C-like comments, Rust reference. Actually, we can share that. So we have line comment, block comment. Apparently, what? So yeah, that probably should work. Famous last words. Yeah, is that not an amazing new world that Rust and Cargo got us in? Recurring theme, 14-second build systems, and now we have 24 of those. So Anthony says, caught up on the Discord, true that the M1 Macs are nothing special without optimized code, not worse, Hazel run. Well, the CPUs are good. Probably maybe Zen 4 will catch up. Again, so the thing is, for most Mac people, the M1 Macs look so outstanding because previously the Intel ones, Apple historically updated the Macs slowly, and the Intel CPUs were, of course, the last years also lacking. The crazy thing is that they thermally throttled the Intel Macs with making them so thin, and now they have their own efficient silicon, and they make the Macs bigger and better cooling for their more efficient silicons. Of course, like extra, putting them in extra spotlight, their own silicon, right? And improving thermals and thickness for their own spotlight, Apple silicon. But basically, the CPUs are good, certainly, the CPUs are outstanding, especially efficiencies, raw performance-wise, not efficiency more. Performance-wise, AMD Zen 3 is similar, but of course Apple is more efficient. But for GNU Linux, as I said in the beginning of this live stream, for GNU Linux, it doesn't make sense due to all the driver reverse engineering, right? If you buy it today, as seen in the last day's live streams, only the most minimal unisolated frame buffer stuff works, not even the built-in keyboard. And so, as I said, with all the peripherals, so again, from Wi-Fi to the camera to sound, nothing really works. And I would also, and as I said, in my opinion, it will take years to reverse engineer this, especially sure. We will every month get something, like in some months maybe Wi-Fi. Well, there is Wi-Fi today, but the patch is hacky and it's in no tree. So somewhere, I've not even found it, somewhere floating is some Wi-Fi patch. But Wi-Fi is only one thing, then we also need the webcam and certainly even more important, sound. And there is a sound test, but only a test, not even a driver, and so on and so on. So you can barely use it. So even I spent 3 afternoons getting it to work. That probably tells you all you need to know and how easy it is to boot Linux natively. And so right now this is running in QEMU, which is certainly more usable. Actually, we could actually already, by the way, is the date correct? Install some more stuff. I could also test actually the performance. But yeah, basically, long story short, as I said in the beginning of this video, get the best PC, and you have more of that today. Rust installed. Okay, so this patch did something. Did I? Bash completion. We need to clean that up though. Also, we should actually. Let's. Okay, so now we have a recent cargo, so that probably should help. Bootstrapping that and avoiding that we have a slightly too old system cargo. Obviously, that is a nice thing, of course. Basically making T2 bootstrapping more reliable, more reproducible, and so on. And more distributed and stuff. slightly, did I try to build cargo, cross-compile cargo? I forgot. Maybe I tried and it didn't just work, maybe? Need to check. So this was Rossi of no bash completion, and so that is probably duplicate here. And so let's touch this log, because now we have, this is all we wanted to test. We could cleanly rebuild that, but probably that takes some 15 minutes or whatever. That was certainly not worth spending our build cycle. Yeah, also, did I run this wrong? Let's hope over. Yeah, we will test this in the next days, obviously, with a clean rebuild. It's not only boring, but also wasting CPU cycles. No, this still fails. Thank you very much. Isn't that amazing, the new state of software development where everything randomly fails because latest and greatest innovation? What does it want now? Old configure, level requirements, debus, not met, debus glib. That is strange. Usually we... How is this not... Or did I maybe I YOLO'd over that? This could be... Yeah, okay, I YOLO'd over that because of other build marginalities, but this should work build now. Yeah, Anthony hopes Qualcomm releases their competitor and what releases their competitor and support Linux out of the gate, saying partnership with Microsoft is going to fail again. Yeah. My big, I mean, I'm the Ryzen. I mean, for most people, this is also why Windows fails probably. Just have a little bit talk while we wait anyway for those long compilations here. Why we have our computer work for, and this is the thing, right? The computer should work for us, for you, for me here, compiling there, Firefox, and that is not what the Apple Silicon is the opposite, right? Where the community needs to work very in-depth, low-level reverse engineering to get the hardware to work, right? It should be the other way around, right? And this is what we still got wrong, especially in the open source community. And so that we, instead of having the computer, and this is also, it's not a good investment, right? Basically coming full circle for in-depth, low-level tech people, especially those who want Linux and open source, or there's also people working on OpenBSD or so, who want Linux or BSD on the Apple Silicon. Totally waste of time and money, right? The machine should work for us. If you invest multiple thousands of dollars, then this machine should help you, right? It's actually, if you want this Apple Silicon, you need to work for the machine and, well, if you want that to work, right? If you do not have the know-how to do that, then sure, you need to wait for Macan and other Asahi Linux people. But basically, instead of having the machine work for us, the Asahi Linux project works for the machine and Apple to make the stuff actually work, which was not the point of shedding good and a lot of hard-earned money for a computer that should compute, right? Instead, the reverse engineering open source developer need to compute to make the machine work, which is hilarious. Anyway, coming full circle here. And I personally, because ARM is of course also very, yeah, I mean, you can't, if you want a processor, even if it's like on an FPGA and stuff, you need to license it. So it's not open source. So my long-term bet, and historically ARM was not even that clean. ARM64, previous videos on the Moment channels, of course, much nicer, especially with the scalable vector extension SVE coming up there. And RISC-V has that now from the beginning, right? The next CPUs, the current CPUs here on the unmatched board, of course, do not yet have a vector extension, but the next one's RISC-V vector extension will have scalable single instruction multiple data stuff that ARM only got now from the beginning. So there is no old-fashioned MMX, SSE, Neon non-scalable as AMD stuff to support. So RISC-V right now, of course, right now it's pretty legacy free. And of course, the latest and greatest vector extension stuff is yet to come. But I think there are, the first silicon should be on the market, I think. But the point is, I am looking more forward to RISC-V than ARM. ARM is already pretty complex, and yeah. And I said with the Apple videos, I probably should make more. I mean, the crazy thing is, if I live stream here this work, then less people watch and it's more boring than if I would do a weekly IT chat. Probably that would even be more successful than live streaming, working on open source stuff, as crazy as it is. But what I wanted to say with the ARM situation, Qualcomm alone will probably not be competitive with Apple in terms of performance and efficiency. Qualcomm has not been the last decade and probably will not. And the problem is, and I said this also in one of those Apple M1 live streams maybe a year ago, or one of those there on the more main channel when Apple M1 stuff was released. And I said this then, and I still say this, the companies like Microsoft and Google and all of those, they need to get their act together and work together, right? If Qualcomm does something, and well, Google doesn't even do much except Tensor cores and maybe NVIDIA ARM. Anyway, if they want to be competitive with Apple, they need to get to their act together. It does not scale if every vendor does their own silicon design. We don't need 20 different processes that are all slow. They need to get the act together and make one outstanding, scalable, amazing silicon. Otherwise, Apple will just run away with their performance and efficiency, as much as I hate this. So I'm going to say they need to get the act together. So the cool thing is, so that bootstraps, let's add this patch. The last time I actually forgot this. So bash, no bash completion. And then let's see what we got there. So at least we make T2 compiling and bootstrapping. Nice every day. What else did we have? The FED, what is that? The target. All right, I had, actually this is tested. Okay, I guess we can commit this together. I had actually some, we need this in the long term anyways. This is just factoring out the Rust target out there because we need to substitute this a little bit for some architectures at times. So that is arch target. I think I probably, yeah, if there one is missing, we will see for Spark or something of that sort. That is include cargo in Rust tool chain bootstrap function out. What is it? Rust. Why did I have this? Rust target to target needs custom tweaks for some architectures. That even now, whatever. Include cargo and Rust toolchain bootstrap. We should also check. Most likely we have some Firefox update. It's probably some days since we updated Firefox. And yeah, all I wanted was actually test this Firefox for ARM. Maybe we actually probably live stream already 1 hour. Yeah, how long? Just 1 hour. Let's see. So Firefox, that would be here. Ironically, they remove FTP support, but still rename their file distribution stuff FTP. Is that not ironic? So let's, yeah, back in the day we could have directory listing. What was it even? 90? They have here 95, 94. They have 9402. So yeah. 9402 release notes, all features, and that's probably just very minor improved hangs, excuse assistive. I have hangs. Here's instability crucial Linux caused by file descriptor liquid. Interesting. Yeah, because I didn't have to. Also, this failed somehow. What failed there? 8 minutes in compile warning. What does it want here now? Why does stuff always fail? Why does it even fail? This utils package deprecated. Where would be the error? Yeah, not even 2021. You can't even easily determine where this failed. Failed to parse cache stats output? What? I don't even want cache stats. And where is the error, man? Or is it this one here? Probably it's RL box, sandbox. Is that error callback was not declared in this code? Did you mean? What the heck? What's going on here? That recently compiled 2021 and stuff still basically, where is it coming from and why? That is crazy. Oh man, all I wanted was, I mean, probably which version of Firefox do we have here even? 9Q Firefox 9401. 94. So I recently, did I rsync that or no? I think I installed that one. When did I build this? 1106. Also already, is it like 20 days ago, huh? Yeah, amazing stuff. Anthony says RISC-V makes insane progress, but decade out before major for power users. Well, it is major today. It's only lacking high performance silicon. It's probably, you probably mean. LibreWolf, what? Yeah, so the problem is not RISC-V as in either. The problem is only RISC-V CPU implementer, so it needs someone of the caliber of Qualcomm or Apple. Sci-Fi, Hi-Fi, they are of course trying, but so far the current design unmatched. Also, yeah, more videos, right? Sometime soon, next in some weeks. Finally, a case built with the unmatched. The unmatched RISC-V. I set this, of course, dual issue in order, so performance of Intel Atom E350, and so it is not RISC-V. It is implementing CPU cores as out of order and speculative and stuff as latest and greatest Intel and Apple Silicon or AMD and Apple Silicon stuff. So that is the issue. And Sci-Fi Hi-Fi with 100 million investments, of course, getting there, but it even took Apple from 2006-ish or so with PA Semi to today. So yeah, I agree it could be up to a decade, although yeah. I mean, the thing is, of course, also that AMD and Apple are not standing still, and they also, it's so RISC-V, Sci-Fi, Hi-Fi, and others are targeting a moving target. So yeah, that's not easy. Let's see here. But even with RISC-V, maybe is what I said, people need to get the act together. maybe that applies a little bit to Sci5, Hi5, RISC-V as well. Also, we have, of course, a healthy open source FPGA and so on scene. But I have the feeling this will similar not compile. Let's give it a try. But maybe what I said about ARM applies to RISC-V as well, that people, not people, companies, also this fails quickly. What? No space left on device. Why is it? Oh, don't tell me, do I not have? We certainly get highest performance RISC-V silicon. That is funny. Why did also need to clean up that eventually? Also, maybe we don't need for both, obviously. Was TempFS really full? I mean, it could be possible. It's probably sorry, some days up. 3 days up. Yeah, 3 days of building. Maybe we'll wait a second. We can of course check with 95 of serve 7. Yeah, it's probably TempFS. Probably must have been full, I guess. So yeah, making T2, like working on more general usable stuff, probably on the agenda. There's also in general making T2 easier and snappy and so on. There are things, so if you, maybe do we need some votes, or, I mean, the thing is, what the community needs is of course different from what I need. I don't need, is it mine? I don't need more desktops, but interesting, someone opened the box there. So yeah, this actually we should check. Do we not have Fortran anymore? Being broken for some time. Didn't even, interesting. I wonder if it's broken upstream. So, I mean, basically for me, T2 is amazing, but I understand it's too error prone, so I need to work out also to do what are the most important steps to improve the, although a big part of that is, of course, making emerging software easier and less error prone, which we also just did with Rust. Risk, by the way, what time is it? Let's build Risk, no, not Risk with ARM. Also, isn't it ironic? We just got Firefox, previous video, we just got Firefox building on RISC-V, and now it broke on ARM. We will see. I also need to think about, so I mean, we first need to find out why it broke. I mean, right now it didn't even compile it all. I had here LTO, so previously, okay, RISC-V LTO already broke. Yeah, maybe we only do LTO for x86 then, because the other stuff appears to be more fragile, and x86 is of course more tested. We notice the efforts, it requires way more efforts to test all the other architectures than, because x86 is naturally constantly tested. And so I think, all right, we had that. Nortec updated food. So I guess that concludes that live stream. For the most part, I mean, we could shortly wait. For the Firefox build. Let's also add to the to-do, because you can never have too much to do. init rd boot function. And yeah, welcome. I hope you learned something. Maybe we could continue some minutes to see, but it probably will fail the same, and then I need to even more guru meditation to find out why this fails now, as crazy as it is. I also wonder, do we have maybe, oops, wrong. Do we have Rust C somewhere of probably a new version somewhere, like, do we have this version? Also best not with version actually. Yeah, a little bit new, a little bit fix there and here. Certainly win-win of updating stuff. Yeah, but basically we also I need to spend even more efforts for data to update even more automatically, because the more data does, the more time I have. Firefox, what else? All right, the other, so the initRD boot function would be as simple as initRD. Do we properly, hopefully show this mostly? This is an mk initRD. And my idea is, because for me, often with low level work, I find myself needing this here. All right, interesting. Does it mean that I didn't? I slightly wonder. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I find myself typing this block here often. So basically, the idea would be to put this into function, like boot maybe. The only thing is, we shouldn't leak this into the environment. I need to debug a little bit and try and error how this is with exporting functions. Not that we have this defined. Dash asks, how far ago was the Dreamcast target tested? It's probably 15 years ago. But my friend in Berlin still has this. I never had a Dreamcast. It was, and welcome everyone. Yeah, so 15 years ago. But I built, it needs some hack with GCC Multilib. I probably should fix that sometime soon. And but otherwise, Super H did build. Also, not a fan of this automated quoting stuff here. So the idea would be to, and I need to test this first somehow. Actually, you know what? I should have first tested that before I YOLO that, and maybe even switch root init and all this stuff. Actually, we could like kill that and then export. I need to check up. So, I mean, this probably could work maybe. Like having here a function. And the only thing is init, where is that coming from? Init. Do we have a set block here of setting the remaining arguments, or? Where do we have that? Or is maybe actually the kernel calls init with right, the kernel calls this init script resource argument. Actually need to check if that was, I think there was a slightly better syntax, but I mean, probably doesn't matter most for this case anyway, with quotes and spaces. I need to check with this function export and show if it works like that. Okay, so this fails the same, most likely because obviously this is my life. Yeah, this probably fails. I slightly wonder, request named load, and I hear something. And yeah, so it's still ICU. ICU? ICU 69, or do we run with the wrong ICU? Like system ICU versus... Maybe this ICU stuff is out of sync or broken or whatever. Yeah, this will be fun to debug. One last thing, so I will, maybe we commit the Firefox update already that might build for your desktop. Might build for your desktop for playing long at home. Let's see pdksh. So function boot. Why is this? Function boot. What? That works. So this is of course not exported. So if we export boot and no, this doesn't work like this. Okay, can we export functions? Yeah, I Googled that, and we could, however, export F. Does it work? And pdksh probably not, huh? One option, yeah. We could, of course, probably we'll read the details. Alternatively, we could put this in some shell init file or something of that sort. The point of this is that if you, for some reason, like fiddling around with new Apple Silicon or virtual machines, that you have this function then at hand and can reuse that to boot. Like you don't need to type all the stuff in here, and you can then just run boot if I figure out how to best do this. Anyway, so, but that's really the last thing now. Finally came back from the walk, so need to go play with Junior. I hope you learned something. I have some, as usual, stuff to fix. A recurring theme here, right? Firefox, yeah. You fix this and it breaks. And good, but not able to understand concurrency correctly. Can what Rust renaming going to? My Rust learning is going good by able to understand concurrency correctly. Can you please help? Not in this stream, maybe in another stream. Probably share, like, and subscribe for that. And I have to run. I hope you learned something. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe, or Patreon and GoFundMe and GitHub sponsorship and stuff to keep all this stuff building, and ARM64 and RISC-64 in an amazing and advancing shape. And I hope to see you soon for our next fun stuff to come.